The Highlands of Scotland attract hundreds of thousands of visitors each summer because this is a beauty with a worldwide reputation. And while many come simply to look, every year a hardy few arrive ready to embrace a more physical appreciation of this most stunning landscape. This must surely be one of the toughest and yet most breathtaking ways to finish anyone's triathlon season. It starts with a pretty bracing swim in the loch and then takes the participants on a bike ride across the Highlands before finishing with a 13.1 mile run up and then down the country's highest mountain. And anybody who makes it back to the finish in Fort William will have more than earned the right to call themselves a Ben Nevis Braveheart. The headline feature of the Braveheart is without doubt the 13.1 mile run, which follows exactly the same route as one of the country's hardest mountain races. And when you throw into the mix the swim beforehand and the bike as well, you can see why this event appeals to triathletes looking for something a little bit extra. So let's join your race commentator Patrick Winterton for a further look at this unique and iconic course.
The Ben is undoubtedly the crux of this race, but don't underestimate the swim. Few will complete the 1900 metres in under half an hour.
It's a cold water swim as well, which is unusual, I think.
Water temperatures range from 7 to 13 degrees. Today it's at 12, but dropping fast as the nighttime temperatures plummet. The bike ride goes north through Speenbridge to Loch Laggan. An out and back course means you know exactly what you've got to do.
It'll take it out of you if you're not expecting it. For people that aren't that good on the bike, it'll still be quite a tough course, I reckon.
Ben Nevis is the key attraction here, I think.
At over 4,000 feet, there's 15% less oxygen at the top than there was at the bottom. Most will be dreading the run down, but there'll be a feel-good factor for all who summit.
It's a runner's triathlon. Obviously the half marathon up and down the Ben is the defining part of the whole thing.
There's always lots of other people up there having their own personal challenges, and that inspires you as well, so it's a great place to be.
Well, a mix of trepidation, excitement and expectation as they prepare to enter the water. But make no mistake, these triathletes are as tough as nails and they are ready for the Braveheart.
1900 metres at 12.4 degrees. Those who haven't already immersed themselves are going to struggle with their breathing in the first 2 or 3 minutes. The cold tightening the costal muscles and making the breathing so much harder. Sean McFarlane knows exactly what's coming.
Well, the swim is, I think, probably the main thing that people will have problems with because they're not expecting it to be as cold as it will be. So you need to wrap up. Underneath my wetsuit, I'll have extra neoprene on. I'm not so fussed about having a quick transition after the swim. I just want to stay warm in the swim. That's the key thing. So every bit of my hands, feet, head will be covered in neoprene, more or less.
This is where a good wetsuit earns its money. Coming from Loch Gilphead, Graham Neagle knows all about cold water swimming.
Your muscles just start to hurt a lot more quickly. Normally if the water was 16, 17 degrees, you could go for an hour and a half, 2 hours without any problem. With it's going to be 10, 11, you're really going to start to feel it after half an hour. Your fingers will go numb, your toes will go numb. When you try and get out of the water, you'll probably fall over.
Well, he's hardly sold it to me, but as usual, Siobhan Price is oozing enthusiasm. She's in her element here and is aiming for a win.
It'd be such a great way to end the season. I mean, goodness, it would be an amazing way to end the season. It's so rugged, and it's just those mountains, the Scottish mountains on the west, they're just so appealing to me. I mean, I love playing in the mountains, and you can just do so much here. It's stunning. And exactly, I mean, this is it, isn't it? This just shows you exactly why we come here.
Siobhan's fit, but she has had time offshore, and that might have eaten into her fitness. And if that's the case, Mary Meldrum, who swims these waters daily, could be the main opposition.
During term time, I'm a teacher, so every morning before school, except last week I had a bit of a rest. So I like to acclimatise. In the most beautiful, stunning scenery. Just makes you feel alive.
With Achilles tendon problems, Graham Neagle's had more time in the water this summer and it's paying dividends. He's got a good lead in the swim. And don't forget, he was a mountain biker before he became a triathlete. So his 2 strong legs come 1 and 2.
From cycling, I'm reasonably good going up the hill, but coming down I tire quite quickly, so I'll probably leave everything at the top of the hill and then just try and survive on the way back down.
Sean O'Donnell's the second man out of the water, and he's just ahead of Siobhan Price, someone who was taught to swim by her mum and inspired by her dad. Great swim from her. Graham Neagle up front, the member of Fusion Tri Club in Glasgow, taking his time in transition. He only entered this event a month ago.
My tactic in transition is going to be make sure I get the right clothing on. I mean, you'll probably still be quite cold coming out of transition, but if you give yourself a chance to heat up on the bike, you'll be fine. But if you go out just with a tri-suit on, you'll probably get to the halfway point and be hypothermic. So it's definitely worth taking a few minutes, putting arm warmers on, maybe leg warmers.
So Neagle first into transition, and he's going to be first out, but his time in transition just over 3 minutes 20. There will be those who are much quicker than that.
My face is all numbed, you know. God, no, the salt water that was quite, what's the word? It was quite wavy. There's a little salt water going in my stomach there, but oh my God, it's a great swim. It's beautiful. It's really good.
Siobhan Price, third out of the water, only the leading two men beating the 30-minute mark. 28:14, the fastest swim time. There's Chris Watson, an RAF triathlete, ahead of him, Ali Robinson. 4 minutes down on the quickest swim time. Now he'll have to turn his mind to the bike ride.
I like the bike course, good condition roads, which is nice in the UK, you don't often get that. It's what I would call pedally, which means you can just keep putting the power down all the time. There's not really any scope for freewheeling, which is good.
The only man here with a disc wheel. Will it pay dividends? There's not too much wind to worry about today. Siobhan Price, first of the women into T1. She's taken over 4.5 minutes in transition, but at least she's dry. Mary Meldrum, third woman out of the water and into transition.
I can't even feel my feet.
A good transition from Meldrum. She's now only 4 minutes behind. She's got to make that up on the bike. Nice and steady, pacing crucial on this stage.
You can start the bike and you're not in control of your senses. You can be numb. It's not helpful for steering. It's actually it becomes a safety issue. So it's important to get as warm as possible before you start the bike.
Graham Neagle, the race leader after an excellent swim. One of only two men under the 30-minute mark for the 1900 metres. And here's a man who's taking his time at the start. Ali Robinson, one of the favourites here in Fort William. Is he going to be the Braveheart? Siobhan Price, good solid swim. Can she back it up with a good bike ride?
It needs to be done quickly, hopefully, but you need to be in good shape for the mountain. You need to respect the mountain that's coming up, but not too much. It's getting that sort of balance right, which is key.
Siobhan Price, who showed her endurance qualities with the first ever triathlon, which was a half Ironman, and she knows exactly what's coming today.
So I've never done the cycle route here before. I drove it coming in to Fort William, and it looks stunning. Hilly, there's a good hill in it. Up to, you go up to the reservoir or the dam and back down. So there's a good hill, really good road surfaces, and it's the there and back as well. So it means you can pace yourself quite well. You know, when you're at the turnaround point, you know exactly how long you've got to go back.
Good start from Alison Matthews, who's certainly in the running for a top three in the women's race. And coming up behind her, Mary Meldrum, low seat, low gear, and making good ground. 4 minutes, remember, behind Prize at the start of the bike ride. She has to be in touch by the time they start the climb on Ben Nevis. She knows that. Graham Neagle, excellent swim from Neagle. Achilles tendon problems, remember, throughout the summer. That could be his downfall. Chris Watson pushing hard. Another man with a high cadence today.
How you feeling? It's not too bad. We're only halfway there, not even though, so time will tell. Still can't feel my feet.
He said he was racing to finish. He came out of the water in 17th. He's already up into 4th position. And if he keeps spinning like this, he might have to change his game plan. Here comes Ali Robinson. He is flying through the field. Moving up into 5th place, Robinson. And looking very solid. The next man he's after is Chris Watson, and it won't be long. From 5th to 4th, and closing down on that lead of Graham Neagle, who's still out front in this race. Robinson still really in rehab from that Accident he had when he took on a bus when he was on his bike. Not a good move, but he's up into third, moving up into second. Just one more man to catch in this Braveheart triathlon. And here he is, Graham Neagle, out front after a really good swim. And Sean McFarlane going well. He knows this route better than most. Not always an advantage.
I've done races here before where you see Ben Nevis on the bike leg and it's not helpful because it's there, often in the mist, and you think, I've got to go up that next.
Ben Nevis, which means mountain with its head in the clouds. They've been racing up it since 1896, but few have done it after a bike ride and a swim of this magnitude. Has anyone saved enough energy for the final stage?
Welcome back to Fort William and the Ben Nevis Braveheart. Now, in some long-distance triathlons, the podium positions have already pretty much been determined by the time the leaders get back to transition 2. But the Ben Nevis has a sting in the tail for anybody who happens to go too hard too early on the run, because this half marathon is absolutely brutal. With 1,000 metres of climbs and descents to contend with, so much can and usually does happen in this final instalment of drama. So let's get straight back to your commentator, Patrick Winterton.
Well, they'll be wishing it was only 1,000 metres. That extra 344 can make all the difference. Neagle heading back to T2. He should be the first to sample the hill.
I'll try and get into T2 in a pretty good position and then just hang on and see what I can do.
Well, here he comes. Remember, an Achilles problem throughout the summer. He knows that this is going to be the critical leg. Another 2 minutes in transition, losing a lot of time, and he's carrying enough kit for a fortnight on the mountain. Here comes Ali Robinson. What a brilliant bike ride. There's no doubt that he will be the fastest on the bike today. Can he match it with a good run on the Ben as well? And Chris Watson now in third place.
I do quite a bit of hill running, but after a bike like that, I think I will be a bit slower, so we'll see how it goes.
Plenty of opportunity to gain ground on the run, perhaps more so on the downhill. Sean McFarlane, this is the leg he's been looking forward to, but like the three in front of him, he's had injury problems this summer as well. If he can find his running legs, he still has a chance.
I think it depends on at what point in the field people are. In my experience, people higher up tend to come off the bike, they tend to be quite good triathletes, but they can't run up mountains. And that helps me. So I can get into people hopefully on the mountain.
Graham Neagle on the approach road. He's been training in the campuses near Glasgow. Has he done enough?
I've been hill running a couple of times a week, but nothing this length. It's a bit of an unknown. So I might get halfway up and start walking, see what happens. If someone overtakes me, I'll do all what I can to chase them, but it might not go that well.
Ali Robinson, 2 hours 5 minutes on the bike, 5 minutes quicker than anyone else. But he's still got a lot of work to do, currently in second. And it won't be long before he catches sight of Neagle ahead of him. Chris Watson in third. Short, steady steps from Watson. And electing to use the poles to protect those knees that he's had problems with. Sean McFarlane chasing.
Going up is more tiring, it's more energy zapping in many ways. Sometimes when it's a beautiful clear day, which is not often, it's demoralising because you see the thousands of people in front of you and it's a long way up.
Sidestepping the tourists on the trail, and Robinson ahead of Neagle for the first time. This is a mental test for Neagle as Robinson tries to make that decisive break. The smile has gone. Everyone reduced to a walk at this stage. It goes up and up and up. 900 metres, another 440 to go.
Doing better than I thought. I don't expect to be in the lead off the bike. Okay. I expected to die on the run.
He won't be the only one. The descent, so critical. The sticks paying dividends for Sean McFarlane as he goes past Chris Watson. Quickens his pace. Underfoot, So treacherous, the stones, big enough to trip you up, but small enough to move when you stand on them. And finally, into those clouds, Ali Robinson on the summit plateau. Delicately working his way towards the checkpoint.
Where is it? It's here somewhere. Here. That is a long hill.
And Graham Neagle surviving in second place for now.
How's it going? It's getting quite sore now.
What's your name?
Graham Neagle.
Graham Neagle. Do you like a pork pie, Graham?
Oh, mate.
There's a time and a place, and it's not at the top of Ben Nevis. You'd probably see the pork pie again. Sean McFarlane. He knew the run was where he had a chance. He's gained a minute or so on Chris Watson. This little operation could cost him a minute or more. And here comes Chris Watson with an opportunity now to regain third place at the top of the bend. Well, that's not going to happen quite yet. Siobhan Price, the leading woman, well, she's gone from a casual entry to a committed triathlete. Being a geophysicist and a triathlete, there's not a lot of time left.
At the start of the year, I said, right, that's it. I really want to do really well in triathlons, you know, not just simple, you know, flat triathlons, but the extreme mountains. I love playing the mountains. And so since January, I guess I kind of just gave up my social life. I gave up, you know, I just thought, you know, I love playing the mountains. I love cycling. I love swimming. I'm just going to train. I'm going to try really hard.
It's really paid off because she's at least 20 minutes clear of Matthews and Meldrum. And if anyone can cope with the downhill, she can.
Even the quickest road runners can lose valuable minutes here if they're not confident enough on the descent. Because running down here requires concentration, bravery, and perhaps even a touch of madness. You've got to absolutely go for it and throw caution to the wind if you're going to be first to reach the finish in Fort William.
Ali Robinson, who's already taken a fall on the descent, looking uneasy again. Now, with so much metal in his body, he can ill afford a big tumble if he's going to take the victory here in Fort William. The smile's still there. Graham Neagle not looking so happy. Looks as though he's tweaked his left knee as well. And Chris Watson, of the leading three, looking the best on the descent at the moment, chased by Sean McFarlane, who's lost that third place. It goes on and on and on. Alison Matthews in second place in the women's race at the moment, and she is ascending the hill faster than any of the four men who are leading this competition at the moment. Mary Meldrum losing a little bit of time on the ascent, but still in third in the women's.
I'm doing the best I can. I haven't been time wasting too much.
The longer and tougher the event, the better the women do, and the leading three are excelling themselves today. Here are the two leading men. Neagle back in front, ahead of Robinson. These two trading places on the lower slopes of Ben Nevis. Another kilometre to go on the track, and then they're on to the tarmac. And that is the real sting in the tail. 3 kilometres into the town centre. We could see some changes on that section. Robinson just opening up 20-25 metres over Neagle. Is this where he makes his move? At the top of the mountain, Alison Matthews. Marie Meldrum just behind her. Matthews, incidentally, quicker than 3 of the leading 4 men on the ascent. Astonishing running from her.
Never ending.
There are those that will be taking 9-10 hours today, but the race leaders now approaching the finish, almost at the base of Ben Nevis. Robinson on his way to a possible victory. Watson's making good ground. Neagle hanging on. Sean McFarlane, who hasn't had the best of runs, is still pushing, trying to get into the top 3. but it's Ali Robinson who takes the tape and becomes the Braveheart of 2015. An outstanding performance. His rehab is complete.
That was hard. That was really, really hard. Everything seemed to come good. First half, well, third of the bend, and then I just started to have real problems. Fell twice, and just cramping at the junction, the last crossing of the road. And I thought, if I have to walk to the finish, I don't know what I've got. Yeah, that is just epic, properly epic. That is toughest I've done. I've done a lot of hard ones. I've done the Alpe d'Huez triathlon.
Hang on, because here comes Chris Watson into the finish. He's made good ground, the fastest on the mountain today, and it's put him up into second place.
Absolutely.
Great effort from the RAF triathlete. 2 hours and 55 minutes of pain on the bend.
Those last couple of miles are horrid.
Felt a lot longer on them
coming back.
From runner to triathlete.
This year is my first proper year in triathlon, so I'm over the moon about what's happened so far, so I'm looking forward to next year now. It's been fantastic, especially with the weather today as well. It's been ideal, not too warm, not too cold, no wind, so it's been fantastic.
And third place for veteran Sean McFarlane.
Yeah, Ben Nevis, it was good fun today. It was a good atmosphere.
And Graham Neagle, who led at T1 and T2, dropping to fourth.
I'm going to work on my running and I'm going to try and win it next year.
No such demise for Siobhan Price. An outstanding performance from her. Third overall out of the water. She has showed no weakness today.
Oh my goodness! I have so much cramp on my quads right now. Oh, that was amazing. Honestly, one of the best triathlons I've ever done. I can't believe I made it to the top of Ben Nevis. That was really, really great race.
Prize over 25 minutes clear of the second woman, Alison Matthews, who's looked very strong today. She's just got better and better as the race has gone on. Third place for Mary Meldrum. She didn't challenge for the win, but she's enjoyed the race and the whole experience here.
There's not many races where you're coming down the hill and you hear the stags rutting.
Wow.
It's fantastic.
This is an event that's about finishing. Like, it's not about the time. You know, getting to the finish is a massive achievement. Almost all other triathlons, you're going to get to the line in the end, but, you know, Ben Nevis could stop you.
The harder the course, the more spectacular the scenery, the more appealing the race. The Braveheart tops the bill.
The people coming together, you know, and everyone's supporting each other, it's just fantastic.
Everyone has to come up and try this. Honestly, it's phenomenal. It's beautiful.
Well, there are one or two still on the course. Well done, you're almost there, looking excellent. A few have been bruised, a few have even been bloody, but crucially, none have been broken or beaten by Ben Nevis. Two excellent victories for Ali Robinson and Siobhan Price on a day when we've learned two things about this fantastic race. One is obvious, it's the mountain itself. What a backdrop for any endurance race. And two, it's simply the warmth and the spirit that has encapsulated the entire weekend. And I can promise you, for any triathlete of any ability, this is surely an event that you must tick off before you retire. From the base of Ben Nevis, bye for now.